Max Siegel is the former president of Dale Earnhardt, Inc. and is now the CEO of his own sports marketing firm with clients that include NASCAR. He is also the author of the forthcoming text, Know What Makes Them Tick, How to Successfully Negotiate Almost Any Situation. Max, good to have you here.
Glad to be here.
You doing all right, man?
I'm doing great.
Your story has, we've known it, for full disclosure, Max and I grew up together. We've known each other since we were kids back in Indiana. And I've been so, as a friend, just pleased to watch your growth and all the opportunities you've had and the success that's come your way. You took a turn, no pun intended, you took a turn that I didn't see coming, though. When you did the NASCAR, when you did the Dale Earnhardt NASCAR thing, how did that happen?
Well, you know, Reggie White's been a great friend of mine.
The late, great Reggie White.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Since he was a client of mine. And, you know, Reggie's very passionate and his attitude is infectious. And when he retired down in Charlotte, North Carolina, he hooked up with Joe Gibbs and Joe Gibbs Racing and saw a tremendous opportunity in NASCAR for people of color. And he just kept after me for a long time to invest with him, to look at what was going on in the sport. And when I got introduced to the sport, it had every bit of entertainment and sports and, you know, competition. It was everything that I had done my entire career, and it was, you know, new territory, so it was an exciting opportunity.
You had been prior to that in the music business. What's the contrast, the comparison, music, NASCAR, music, auto racing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the core business is pretty much the same. Right. It's really developing brands, intellectual property, managing those, and really taking a product to the consumer. The thing that I find that's really compelling about NASCAR is, unlike most sports and most entertainment products, the fans live the lifestyle. So for me, it was an opportunity to get with fans who are even more discriminating in where they spend their discretionary income and passionate about what they do. And, you know, in consuming that sports product, they have a very high standard for what they want to see. See,
now you confuse me, but given your brilliance, I'm sure you'll make me understand this.
Yeah.
If you said earlier, and I thought I heard you say, that you saw opportunities for people of color, but now you're telling me that the fans of NASCAR auto racing live the lifestyle. I don't see brothers in the hood living the NASCAR lifestyle. So where did you see opportunities for people of color?
Well, you know, the most difficult point of entry for fans in NASCAR is the perception that the sport has. I've found since I was brought into the sport that it has everything that we want, from compelling entertainment, a lot of family values. It's something that's fascinating, whether you come from a technology background, you like speed, celebrity. It has all those kind of things. And I think that for me, one of the things that I've been charged with in terms of managing the diversity program with NASCAR is really showing those people who have that same reaction that you do, that it is a sport that is open and welcoming, and there's something for everyone in it. So I want you to live the NASCAR lifestyle.
Oh, no. I've been trying to get to a race. I've been invited a few times by you and other friends that you haven't gotten there yet. But which raises this question. I think I get it, but I haven't been to a race as yet. What is the thing that turns on? Is it the speed? I mean, what is it? What is it?
Well, I think, you know, when you look at it as a sport, the speed certainly is there, the competition certainly there. It's, you know, the athletes are some of the most accessible athletes in professional sports. You have athletes like Dale Jr. who make tens of millions of dollars a year with tons of fans, and 30 seconds before he gets in a car going 200 miles an hour, he's signing autographs and interacting with fans and sponsors. So I think, you know, core American values, the automotive industry, the origin of the sport, the fact that people feel historically like they could get behind that wheel and compete is something that's attractive to the sport. But again, I think that if you are into anything from technology to sports and entertainment, there's something for you in NASCAR.
I figure that NASCAR auto racing might take a hit in this economy, given to your point now, it is such an everyday people kind of sport. Discretionary income in this country, as we all know, is down. How's the sport holding up under the weight of this economy?
The sport has experienced exponential growth over the past few years, and I think that, you know, with most sports and people who thrive off of marketing dollars, the sponsors are getting a lot more discriminating and want you to demonstrate that there is in fact a return on their investment. I think that what they find with NASCAR is they can actually measure the impact of their marketing dollars investment on the bottom line of their business. So it's remains healthy. There's a TV contract long term. The viewership is up. 75 million fans. It's second to only the NFL in terms of worldwide, and it's the #1 spectator sport. So it's remaining healthy, but teams in that industry are working through the challenges that the auto manufacturers are facing right now, as well as marketing budgets being slashed.
So I'm just top lining this, but you've done music, you've done television, you've done radio, you've done NASCAR, you've done a little bit of everything, and that's why the book is about how to negotiate anything. I had a friend of mine tell me many years ago that in life we don't get what we deserve, we get what we negotiate. We don't get in life what we deserve, we get what we negotiate. You agree with that?
I think that you have to visualize what it is that you want. I think that you do have to negotiate what you want, but more importantly, I think that to get where you want to go and be, you got to negotiate your way through sometimes some challenging obstacles.
Mm-hmm. Tell me more about what that negotiation process has meant for you.
For me, I mean, we spoke about being kids and growing up together, and I'm not just saying this because I'm here, but you've also been a source of inspiration for me. The challenges that I faced growing up, I chose to focus on what I could do to collaborate with someone and how we could win together, or pulling the positive characteristics and qualities from those, whether they're my peers or mentors, that really inspired me. So for me, motivation and what I talk about in the book is not only appreciating and understanding where you are, but seeing where you want to be and really trying to figure out a way that it's a win-win situation for those who can help you get there.
How does that apply for people who are trying to find ways to reinvent themselves in this economy? I mean, there's so many people, as you know, friends of ours, in fact, who are looking for opportunities because the economy has downsized them, pushed them to the margins. And so now this is one of those moments that, if you see it right, becomes, I think, an opportunity to kind of reinvent yourself. Talk to me about that in terms of what you address in the book.
What's really important, you asked me about, what was different, or the contrast between music and sports. Mm-hmm. And I answered the question by saying, what the sweet spot was and where they overlap. I think that, several things in this economy. First and foremost, if you develop a skill in business that is a core skill that you can apply in any industry, you make yourself more valuable. But one of the most important things, all things being equal, people do business with those that they know and they like. So relationships are critically important in the business. I think when I go into a situation, and my advice to people when they're trying to find opportunities is not only to find what makes that person tick that you're talking to, but really how do you help them become successful in whatever it is that they're charged to do with their company or their organization, which would motivate them to hire you. So that translates into any industry, but it does require studying the business, studying the organization, and the individual that you're dealing with.
It seems simple, but it's worth asking, I think. How does one go about, because this is your starting point, you're telling us, you got to know, learn what makes them tick. How do you do that?
I think that there have been techniques and things that people have done on a very superficial level in terms of complimenting those, being around. I think that it requires effective listening. I think that it requires patience. I think that, in this age of technology, it requires a little bit of research. When you have a few minutes, if you will, to interact with someone, it's amazing, with a few phone calls and research, or things that you can find as conversation starters. For me, I think that the most important thing is to break down those initial barriers and to show people that you're genuinely interested in them as a human being, and finding out those things that motivate them.
President Obama, I was just at a dinner party in New York the other night. This was a huge part of our conversation. President Obama has raised the bar for African Americans in so many ways. And I think a lot of people are hoping that it's not just about him, but that it extends to the rest of us who happen to be people of color, that we will get opportunities that have heretofore not come our way. You've been very successful as an African American, finding your way, shall I say, into non-traditional opportunities like NASCAR, for example. Talk to me about being a person of color in this world and not being afraid, finding the courage to go in some non-conventional directions.
Well, one of the things that I do discuss in the book is really getting a core group of people that sometimes give you that confidence and keep you grounded. For me, another component is my spiritual grounding. And I think that when you have the confidence that there may be some divine plan, and when you've surrounded yourself with people that you trust that can kind of keep you grounded and focused, it allows you to take a few risks. And I think that there are a few of us that have been blessed with the opportunity to have a platform, but we also have an obligation, in my opinion, to create opportunities for other people. And I do find that for me, it's a lot easier when I try to surround myself with people who are more positive, who have taken risks, that have both succeeded and failed, and being open to that advice and counsel from those who've gone before you or have experienced something that you haven't.
The new book from Max Siegel is called Know What Makes Them Tick. Max, good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Good to see you. That's our show for tonight. Catch me on the weekends on PRI, Public Radio International. You can access our radio podcast through our website at pbs.org, and I'll see you back here next time on PBS. Until then, good night from LA. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep the faith.
For more information on today's show,